Welcome to the Shape Tool video. Let's jump right in. I'm going to zoom into the pedal on this wild rose here so we can get a better look. The Shape Tool is the second tool on the left-hand toolbox. You can also push F10 on the keyboard to get to it. I also call it the node tool because once you have something selected, you can see how the nodes show up. You'll notice that some of these have different shapes with them. So there's a square, a diamond, a circle, and a triangle. That distinguishes what type of node each one is. So let's start with the square one. So a square node is called a cusp node. You'll notice once I select any node here in the property bar, there's three buttons that are going to show up. This is the cusp button, and it's grayed out because this node is already a cusp node. But there's also smooth and symmetrical. Let me zoom in here. The cusp node means that each line segment on either side of the node is completely independent of the other. So no matter which way I drag this line, the other one does not move whatsoever. That can be useful to get to like a sharp point like this or hard kind of angles. Now if I wanted to round this out a little bit so it didn't come to a point, I could change this to a smooth node. So I'm going to click on smooth, or you can push S on the keyboard and that will change it to a smooth node. You see right away this top of this just kind of rounded off. Now if I grab this little triangle here, it's called a node handle. I can click and drag, and as I do, you see the other handle kind of moves with it, and now I've kind of smoothed this out. If I extend this node handle out, you see the handle on the left does not extend with it. And that's the difference between smooth and symmetrical nodes. So if I change this to symmetrical now, you'll see it's still smooth, and now it's a diamond shape. If I bring this handle in, both handles move in together. So it's still smooth, but now both sides are equally symmetrical. So if I bring this in just a little bit more, make it look like the vein should here, I can bring it in. And you can see it's not pointed like this one. It is nice and rounded off. Now the fourth node is actually not a type of node, but it shows what direction the path or the curve is going. So this particular line segment. Every curve has a starting point and an ending point. This means that this curve kind of goes in this direction. So it starts with this node, and if you were to watch this cut on your plotter, the knife would start right here, and when it cut around, loop up, come back, and end right back here in this same spot. For designing like we're doing here, the curve direction is not really that important. But if we're using other tools like artistic media, for instance, it might. So here I have a line that I drew right here. See this center line? I drew this. And it has an artistic media effect applied to it to where it gets thick on one side and then it goes thin to the other. Well, how do you know which side is thick and which one is thin? Well, that's where the curve direction comes in. So if I come over here again to the shape tool, you'll notice this curve here is pointing the direction, and so it starts off thick on this side and then goes thin. So if I want to reverse that, there's a reverse button. I can click on that, and now the curve direction goes the other way, so it starts thick at the top and then kind of thins out coming down towards the bottom left. So keep that in mind if you're using artistic media, that you can change the curve direction. For the most part, what we're doing, we really don't have to worry about that right now. Okay, I'm going to go back to my shape tool here. So aside from the nodes themselves, there are also different types of line segments. So this one you can see is around, so that's a curve, whereas this one is a straight line. So those are the two types, curves and lines, and you can change those as you wish. In order to do that, you have to make sure your cursor changes to this little squiggly line. That means I'm hovering right over that line. So I can right click and say I wanted to change it to a line. I could click here or push the number 1 on the keyboard, and that will make it to a straight line. To curve is the number 2 on the keyboard. Now again, depending on what type of node is on the end, it may affect the other end of that segment. So if you saw that this side of the line changed because this is a smooth node, so it's always going to try to smooth that out. So you can see when I made that a line, it shifted that other side. If I didn't want it to do that, I could set it as a cusp node by selecting it, pushing C. And now if I change this to a straight line, you'll see this line did not move at all. So be aware of what type of node you have when you're changing the different types of line segments. Now selecting nodes is similar to using the pick tool, but there are a couple differences when it comes to the shift key. I can simply click on one node to select it, and then I can click and drag to move it. I can nudge it with my keyboard, and I can now grab the handles and edit, as necessary. If I want to select more than one node, instead of holding down shift, I would hold down control, and then I can select on any node that I want. Then I can move them all together if that's what I wanted to do to widen this out, for instance. The shift key works a little differently. It's really a shortcut to automatically select nodes for you. So if I wanted to select all of these without having to click on all of them, I could hold down the shift, click on the starting and ending, and it's going to select every node in between those 2 points. Now sometimes it goes the reverse direction and would select everything on this side, and that's okay. If you're still holding down shift, you can click a second time on your last node and it will select the other part of the line segment instead of the one that you had to begin with. And you can toggle kind of back and forth between those if you need to. Now, just like with the pick tool, I can marquee select by dragging a box around nodes if I want to. Again, I have to make sure I entirely get around them, but then I can move them all at once. If I hold down the Alt key, then it turns into a lasso. Then I can freehand select any of the nodes that I wanted. There's also up here in the menu a setting in this drop down you can change from rectangular to freehand by default. So if you use freehand more often, you may want to just change that setting. To select all of the nodes at once, there are a couple ways you can do that. You can double click on the shape tool itself and that will select all the nodes at once. You can also hold down Control and Shift and click on one of the nodes and that will select every node on that path. You can easily add or delete nodes as you wish. To add a node, simply double click on the line. Now watch my cursor as it changes to that little squiggle line cursor. I can double click here and add a node right there. You'll notice by default this came in as a circle or a smooth node. If I didn't want a smooth node, I wanted a cusp, I could just push C on the keyboard and change that to cusp node to just edit one side of that node. To delete a node, same way, just double click on it and it'll go away. There are buttons for this as well. Here's the add or delete. You can also use the right mouse button to right click and add or delete. If you wanted to add a whole bunch in between, for instance, these 2 nodes, I would click on this node here and I can click once on the plus button to add 1. I click again, it'll add 2, then it'll add 4, then it'll add 8. It's an easy way to add nodes really fast if you know you're going to need to do some heavy editing. I'm going to undo this to go back to where we were. If I want to say connect this node with this node here, let me zoom in, I would have to break these 2 nodes apart because they don't connect because of this line segment with the vein. To do that, I would select the node and either hit this button right here to break the curve, or I can right click and say break apart. And that splits that into 2 nodes. So I've got the one path coming this way and then the other part here on my vein. You notice the fill has gone away, and that's because it's no longer a closed object, and that's okay for now. So let me do the same thing here, break this one apart. So I've got this node here for the vein, and then I've got this one here for my pedal. So now if I want to connect these 2 together, I have a few options. Number 1, I can just drag and drop, and that will automatically connect, and you can see my color came back. Now this line segment here is technically not closed yet, so there's no black line there, but we'll fix that here in a minute. Another way to close objects is to select both nodes. I'm going to hold down Shift as I marquee select, and you can just push J on the keyboard, or here's the button here on the top toolbar. What will happen is both of these nodes will move towards the middle, and so they kind of jump together and meet in the middle. So that's another way you can join the nodes. A third way is to use the close curve button. You have to be careful with this. Sometimes it works how you want it, sometimes it's not so great. In this case it worked just fine, but sometimes it would have connected these 2 here, would have went back to the way we had it before. So that one's not my favorite to use, but you can try it on occasion. Usually I'll just select the 2 and push J on the keyboard and it joins them together. And in this case, if I want to smooth this out, usually the easiest way to fix an unruly node is just to get rid of it. So just double click and it's gone. So we still have this vein part that's not connected we need to worry about. So because there's only one place to be closed, we could use the close curve button that would put a straight line in between those 2 nodes. Then I could select those and move those if I didn't want the vein to connect all the way through. If I wanted to get rid of this section entirely, I got a few options. I can marquee select, just hit delete, it's gone. I could also Control Shift and select a node because that will select everything. So if I Control Shift and double click, it will delete everything that's on that particular segment. If I'm working with multiple different pieces, it might be easier just to break the line segments apart. So I'm going to go to wireframe, but I'm going to do Control K to break apart. And now you can see this vein is a separate object from what the pedal is. So I can just select on that object with my pick tool and delete it, and it goes away as well. So different ways you can add nodes, delete nodes, combine, and join them as well. You can also align nodes. So for example, this straight line is not perfectly straight up and down. If I drag a guideline over here, you'll see it kind of tapers off just so slightly. Now I could just snap the node to the guideline, but for this video, let me show you how to align nodes. So I'm going to grab my node tool, and I double clicked on the pick tool, and that automatically takes to the node tool, so that's an easy trick. I'm going to select this top one first, hold down Control, and select the second one. There's an align button right here, and I'm just going to set it to align vertically, click OK, and now these two nodes here are aligned perfectly vertically. So if I move my guideline back, you'll see it's perfectly straight up and down. So you can do that horizontally or vertically as you need to, and you can do that with two nodes or with multiple nodes. Now, as I mentioned before with curve direction, that this is the way things plot, right? So because each little segment gets sent to the plotter, so the fewer segments you have, the faster your plotter is going to cut over time. So what that really means is the fewer nodes you have, the faster your plotter is going to be. So we look at this pedal, I added a bunch of extra nodes just for the sake of this video. They're just really not necessary. If I wanted to reduce those, I can just select them all by dragging a box or double clicking on the shape tool. And then I typically like to use this reduce nodes button. It's pretty good, it's already preset. And so you can see we went down from, let me undo, 26 to 17 with just one click of a button. Now if you wanted to be a little bit more aggressive or maybe smooth some things out, there's a smooth slider here. I could click and drag. You'll notice some of that does change the lines and the angles a little bit, so you have to be careful how far you drag that. But you can see now we're down to even 10 nodes, which is even better and would cut even, just slightly faster. Let me zoom back out here. Get rid of my guideline. So there are several other tools nested under the shape tool. You can play with them, but I'm just going to show you one which is called the smooth tool. In order to use that, we have to select objects first. So I'm going to select all of the wild rows here. And let's say the way this angle is here, this kind of sharp angle, it's almost a 90 degree. There's kind of a little sharp points here. I could use this smooth tool. I've got my setting about 0.8 in size. I've got a rate of 20. So watch what happens to these kind of hard corners right here as I click and drag. See how they just kind of round out? So I can just click and drag on these little areas, and that's going to take off that angle. I can do the same thing on these top pieces. Just kind of gets rid of that little hard angle right there really easily. Just kind of smooths it all out there. Now I wanted to flatten it. I could even go further. I could click and drag, do to 1, 2, 3, 4 times and flatten that out if I wanted to. If I was going for the look that was not necessarily symmetrical, it was a little bit more artistic, you could use this smooth tool to easily change the shape pretty quick. If I wanted to change the circle so it's not perfect, I could kind of smooth that out too, and then it kind of comes a little bit oblong. So that's the shape tool when working with curve type objects, but it is different when it works with different objects. So let's look at text. Here I have 3 lines of text. It's all one object I just typed and then did a hard return for each one. If I come and grab my shape tool again, you'll see there are nodes for each character. And each character has one at the bottom left hand of their character. So if I select this node here on the D, I can click and drag and move it anywhere that I want. If I were to hold down the control key, it's going to stay and go straight along that baseline, so that's very helpful to keep it in line. If I wanted, say, to remove some of the space between the A and the W, I could select both of these nodes, click, hold down control, and I could drag, and I could easily kind of kern and take some of that spacing out. Again, you can use the Alt key to use your lasso to select multiple. You can use the marquee select. You can use, in this case, Shift to hold down and then select multiple nodes. So it does a little bit differently from the curves that you had to use control there, but here it's Shift. Now you also notice there's these 2 little other icons. Let me zoom down a little bit. So this one here on the left, bottom left, that controls the space between lines. So if I click and drag, you'll see the space in between each line gets adjusted either more or less depending on which way I drag. The little icon on the right, if I drag it to the right, it's going to actually kern between the letters and the words at the same time. So if I wanted to add more space to everything, I would use that. If I just want to full justify and maybe stretch out this birth date a little bit further, first thing I would need to do is break them apart into separate lines. So I'm going to go to the pick tool, Control K to break apart. So now I've got 3 separate text lines. So I can just select the birth date, grab my shape tool here. And now if I click and drag, I can stretch it out to where it's the same length as the death date. Now if I want exact, I could drag my guidelines, get one on either side here, and then as I drag, I can tell when it's going to touch that guideline. If I needed to move this J just by itself, I could click and drag. I could also use my nudge key. I'm going to set it to something really low, like 0.001. So now if I just nudge, it's going to move just ever so slightly, and then I can get exactly where I want it. Now, if I hold down Shift as I drag, it's only going to adjust the spacing in between words. If I hold down Control, it only adjusts the spacing in between characters, not words. So keep that in mind as you're kerning. You may want to adjust one over the other. So again, Shift and Control will both do that for you. In this case, I have a lot of space over here in the letters between June and not so much between the year. So if I take my character spacing down by holding down Control, just so I can fix June, and then hold down Shift and go the other way, now I've got my June pretty tight. And then from here I can adjust, nudge over the numbers of the year if I wanted to, just kind of count how many times I go each one. Or I could break it apart into separate words with Control K. And so then I could change this to Right Justified and get it back to my guideline. And then grab my Shape tool. And now as I kern, it's just going to kern just this year, and it's going to stretch it to the left. Now I could use my Pick tool to move this 3, or I could also use my Shape tool. Let me grab it here. And then select the nodes and click and hold down Control and just drag it over and align that with the 31st. Either way, you can keep things together, you can break them apart, kern them all together, or individually as you see fit. Now one last set of objects I want to show you here. Let me get rid of these guidelines, we don't need those. So I created these objects using these 3 tools over here. And when you draw these are special shapes. So this is an ellipse, and you'll see when I go to my Shape tool, there's only one node, and that's because it has special properties as an ellipse. When I click and drag this, it's like a Pac-Man or a pie piece, right? That's because it knows it's an ellipse shape. Same thing on a rectangle. If I try to click and drag this, say to make a triangle, what it does is actually rounds the corners. And that's because it's a special rectangle shape. If it's a polygon, I move one node, it actually moves all 5 kind of symmetrically, which is the way it's intended. If I wanted to move or just adjust one node, I have to convert that special shape to a curve. So I'm just going to push Control Q on the keyboard, and now I come back and I can adjust one node at a time because that's no longer a special shape. Just keep in mind, once you do that, you can't go back unless you use the undo button to go back to a special shape. We'll do more of details on these when we get into these tools in a future video. Now, for those of you who design all day, there is an option that you may want to consider turning on. As we know, in the last 2 videos, we saw you can double click on the Pick tool to jump to the Shape tool. You can also switch back and forth using the spacebar toggle, which is very handy. But there's also one more option you may want to consider under Tools, Options, Corel Draw. Then over here on the left, you're going to click on Node to send handles. And then there's a box that says Enable Node Tracking. If you click on that, what that's going to do is kind of give you a hybrid tool between the Pick tool and some of the other drawing tools and the Shape tool. So even though I've got the Pick tool selected, if I hover over a node, I can actually grab that node as if it were the Shape tool. Even though my Pick tool is still selected, I'm editing it with the Shape tool. Isn't that pretty cool? So it's kind of a hybrid between the Pick tool and the Shape tool without having to go back and click or use the space bar or toggle back and forth. So if that's something you're interested in, you may want to toggle that on and give it a test and see how it works for you. That's our Shape tool. Happy editing.